Okay, so we started class with a look at an algebraic story problem, and then we also looked at how to solve some basic setup equations. So let's take a look at example 2 on the video. We'll look at 2 or 3 problems here, and then we'll come back together as a group. So at any point you can pause the video, try some of this on your own. Kind of is going to allow you to go at your own pace. So example 2 is about swim practice. Jenny is on the local swim team for the summer and has to swim practice 4 days per week. The schedule is the same each day. The team swims in the morning and then again for 2 hours in the evening. If she swims 12 hours per week, how long does she swim each morning? So feel free to read through that a couple of times. We know it's about swim practice. There's several things we know, and then there's one thing that we do not know. We don't know how long she swims each morning. So you can write in the space provided, and I'm going to write on another slide here. Let's start with what we know. We know that she practices 4 days per week. We know that the schedule is the same each day. We know that they swim for some time in the morning. How long, we don't know. And then we know that they swim for 2 hours in the evening. One more thing is we know that they swim a total 12 hours per week. So we want to take our time writing this stuff down. We want to picture the situation. And then the question is, if they do swim 12 hours per week, how long does she swim each morning? So that's what we want to know. So let's go ahead and start to set that up. We're gonna set up an equation. You can do it mentally, but we're practicing a skill today of of building an equation and then solving that equation. Okay, so let's write our equation off here to the right-hand side. And an equation is like a balance, like we talked about at the beginning of the lesson today. And it's going to have 2 sides, the center always being the equal sign. On the left, it's going to be her swim schedule in the form of an algebraic expression, and on the right side, it's going to be equal to the total time that she swims. And that should make sense. Her swim schedule has to add up to the total time that she swims. So let's put in the easiest part that we know first, and that is we do know the total hours per week that she's swimming. It's 12. So the right-hand side of our equation is done. All we need now is her swim schedule represented as an algebraic expression. So we know there's 4 days in the week that she swims. We know that it's the same each day. We know that she swims in the morning and then 2 hours in the evening. So how would we represent this, the morning amount? It's unknown right now. So let's say she swims X hours in the morning. How many hours does she swim in the evening? We do know that too. So if she's doing the same thing every day, she's swimming in the morning and then in the evening, Well, her morning time is X, plus the amount of time she swims in the evening is 2 hours. So this expression represents 1 day of swimming. She's doing that 4 times. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that expression and put it in parentheses. And we're going to say, you know what, she's not doing that 1 time, she's doing that 4 times. And now we have a solvable equation that will give us X, or the value of her morning swim time. So let's go ahead and solve this equation. First step we do is make sure that we understand which side is the left and which side is the right. So I'm going to draw a line straight down my equal sign. Just going to make sure this is still recording. Okay. And then we're going to simplify the left-hand side of the equation. We're going to use what is called the distributive property. And this is going to be 4 times X. If it was 4 times 2, you'd know that's 8. If it was 4 times 5, you'd know that's 20. This is 4 times X. This is 4 times an unknown. So the best we can do is 4X because we don't know the value of that variable yet. Plus 4 times 2 is 8. Bring down your equal sign and bring down the number on the other side. Okay, so now we have a simplified equation. We're going to use inverse operations. To solve. So the first term in our expression that we need, remember the goal is to get the variable by itself. Right now we have this plus 8 with our variable, and we have this 4 with our variable. You need to add or subtract first, which is weird because it's the opposite of order of operations. When you're solving an equation, you're working backwards. So we have this term right here of plus 8 that we want to get rid of. You do that by minusing 8 or subtracting 8. If you do that to the left-hand side of the equation, you also have to do it to the right-hand side. Okay, let's simplify. 8 and negative 8 are additive inverses, so they cancel, and we'll just bring down 4x. Bring down our equal sign. 12 minus 8 is 4. That was our first step, and now we have one final step. This says 4 times x. To get rid of multiplication, we have to do the inverse operation, which will be division. So we're going to divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So that would give us 1x. And 1 times a number doesn't change it, so we don't actually need this coefficient of 1. We just write x. Have to do the same thing on the other side. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And we have a solved equation. X is equal to 1. And if we look back up here, X represents the morning swim time. So how long does she swim each morning? The answer would be 1 hour. Final piece, how do we check this? We go back to our original equation. You don't have to erase all this. And instead of the variable x, we're going to plug in the answer that we got, 1. So 4 times 1 plus 2 equals 12. And then we solve out. 1 plus 2 is 3 equals 12. And since 4 times 3 is 12, 12 is equal to 12. Our equation balances out and we know that our solution is correct. So Jenny swims 1 hour each morning is the solution to our problem. All right, we'll look at one more. It's the next one down the page. This one is just going to be a setup equation. 4x plus 4 equals 19. Now this one's not a story problem. We could build it into a story problem. We may not take the time to do that today, but it would be very much like the one that we just did with Jenny and the swim team. For this one, let's just look. First thing we're going to do is determine our center so that we have a left-hand side and a right-hand side of the equation. And then we know we have to add or subtract first. And we want to get rid of this plus 4 because it's on the same side as the x and we don't want it to be. So to get rid of that, you're going to minus 4. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So organization is super important here. Positive 4 and negative 4 are additive inverses. Bring down what we have left over there. That's a 5x. Bring that down. Bring down your equal sign. We're going to do 19 minus 4. It's 15. Now we have an expression over here that says 5 times x. To undo multiplication, we're going to divide by 5 on both sides. 5 divided by 5 is 1x, or just x, equals 15 divided by 5 is 3. Let's check it off to the side here. We're going to write our original equation, 5x plus 4 equals 19. We're going to plug in 3 instead of x. So 5 times 3 plus 4 should equal 19. If it does, we know we're right. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. 19 equals 19. Equation is balanced. Solution is correct. So x equals 3.